Welcome to the first class on computer programming and the computational techniques. So, before we get into the module, we will see the syllabus. So, in this course, there are six modules. The summarized syllabus, including the computer programming, what is the basics of computer programming, what are the elements of C++, which is a programming language, what are the various control statements used in the C++ programming language, then the basic concepts of object oriented programming. C++ is an object oriented programming language. So this comprises of the first four modules. So in the first four modules we will learn the basic, if you compare or idealize the C++ to an English language, you will learn the alphabets, you will learn the words, then you will proceed to the grammar and the sentences, and then you will proceed to the advanced grammar and the usage of the language. Similarly, you can idealize the first four modules of the C++. The last two modules is basically the use of C++ in solving some mathematical problems which we will encounter in your engineering course. So the problems will be on the computational techniques, solving the mathematical problems like roots of transcendental equation. Will tell you what is it, interpolation, functional approximation, numerical integration, and the solution of simultaneous linear equations. So, what is the difference, or why C++ is called as an object oriented program? For that, you should learn what is an object oriented program. So, we'll see the theory. An object oriented programming is spelling short as OOP, is a way of writing computer programs which is using the idea of objects to represent data and methods. So it's not clear for you. We'll come to it. Usually, the computer programs were just a list of instructions to the computer telling the computer to do certain things in a certain way. So once you are writing some program having a set of instruction, like do this, do that, do this, so those will come under the procedural programming. So there is a certain procedure that has to be followed, and that procedure will give you the final result. But in the case of object oriented program, it is actually specific. So in this program, the computer programs make use of objects that talk to one another, and they change the data in those objects to work in a way that is user wants. So in a C++ program, we are defining so many parameters inside that, and these parameters will communicate each other, and they can be modified even to a different program. So it's not a set of instruction which is like a procedure. It is a group of elements inside the program which will communicate to perform a defined task. So that by that means the I can tell you that object-oriented programming is very versatile. That means it can be modified to a new program also, or for a different purpose. So in that way, the C++ is a very flexible programming language. The one another title, or title we have to understand is the transcendental equation. A transcendental equation is an equation containing the transcendental function So the function means like x is equal to e power minus x. So in this equation, you have x in the both left hand side as well as the right hand side. So you won't be able to solve this equation through the like the algebraic equations that you have learned. So for solving these equations, you need some trial and error. Like you put some x value, and then it has to be matched with the e raised to minus x. So it's like a trial and error, and it is a long procedure. So those equations can be coded and can be executed to give a good result by these programming languages. Even it's possible by the numerical techniques, by the hand computation. The software method of doing will give you some easier results. So this is the overall syllabus of C++. Something more into the syllabus, like the module 1 is basically on the introduction to C++ and telling about the structure of C++ program. So I told if I utilize the C++ to an English language, you'll be learning the alphabets, the words, the sentences, and the basic grammar in the first module. So you'll be learning the various character sets you are using for the C++, the various keywords. So these words will be reserved for the C++. Like there is something like data. Data is a word which has got some meaning in C++. So you can't use any other object to name as data. So data has got some meaning inside the C++. So these are the reserved keywords, identifiers, different types of data. Like for inputting the decimal values, you have to define some data uh, for real number. You have two different type of data. So those things will come, and the string. So these constitute the input things, and then operators like whether you have to subtract, add or to logical increments. So those comes also in the module 1. And also there is some if else statement. So it is to run for the loop. Some if some condition is right, then execute the statement. Suppose this is wrong, then jump to the next statement. So those type of looping will be the basis of looping will be studied in the module 1. This is just an introduction, so basic things. Then we will go to the advanced looping, which may require in the case of some trial and errors. So how to arrange that, how to arrange an array, right? If you have a different types of data, big data, how you will be arranging that into a reasonably well idea, and the different advanced things will be studying in the module 2. Module 3 and 4 is based some like advanced functions. So some functions which has got some meaning, and they are used for dealing with specific type of task. Those if I tell now, it won't be clear for you. So some functions, some global variables, and then the structures, the approach to solve a different type of bugs. So, so you'll be learning the C++ language in the first 4 modules, and then the last 2 modules will be on the solution or using the language to solve the mathematical problems. So you already learned these different mathematical problems during your course, and so now you will be using this C++ language or this procedural like this object-oriented programming for solving the mathematical problems like the rows of transcendental equation, then the interpolations, then the Gauss quadrature method, and also the different Gauss elimination and some finite difference method. That will be the rule 5 and 6. And that's the end of the syllabus. So we already made a video on an introduction to C++. So what is C++? We already learned. Just some history of that. The C++ is a middle level programming language developed by John Stosser starting in 1979 at Bell Labs. So it was invented in 1979. It runs on various operating systems like Windows, Mac OS, and the various versions of Unix and Linux operating systems. So it is very compatible with all the operating systems. And C++ is must for students for who are working who will be working as professionals, uh, software engineers. So the C programming in C is the basics of all the programming languages, and C++ is a modified version of the basic programming in C language. So, for you as a civil engineer, you should learn this C++ to solve the civil engineering problems that you may enquire, like you may encounter in your life. So, regarding the textbooks, you have mainly three textbooks. One is by Balaguru Swami, Object Oriented Programming in with C++, 2008 published, Gerald Sear, 2004, and Robert Laffo, 2009. So Balagurasamy will be a ideal book. The other two are for some advanced learning. And you have so many reference book you can see while exploring through your syllabus. So like these different books, you have so many online options for learning the C++ language. It includes there are so many online tutorials like I have listed some tutorialpoint.com. It is good for learning the theory part of C++ language. And you have W3 schools, which is having so many set of problems, C++ problems. And also the geeks for geeks is also good for theory. So this will be helping you for learning it online. And there are some online compilers. So the compilers are basically used for executing the problems written in C++ language. Suppose you wrote a code C++ program, then you need a compiler to convert. So the compiler basically convert the language to the machine language. So these are very important required for running the program. So there is an online option like onlinegdb.com. So if you copy paste or if you type your language C++ code into this one, it will execute and it will give you the results. For this one, you need the internet. And there are some mobile options like in Android version like cdpdroid.info. You can download this from the Google Play Store, and this will be a compiler. Once you copy paste the program to this compiler, or if you direct type the programs and execute, then you will get the results. Then you have the Windows software. There is application software which runs on Windows platform. This is called as Code Blocks. It is an offline app, and it is the desktop or laptop application software can be used for running the C++ program. So the last three are meant for running the coded C++ program, and the first one they are for learning the theory and problems in C++. So let's get into the structure of C++. So all the programming language will start by say something like hello world. So you are new into the programming and you will learn how to print hello world in the program. So this is the general structure of C++ language or program, and we will see one by one what are the various lines, what it indicates, and what is the necessity of this language or these lines. So I have marked the same color for better understanding. The the C++ language. So we have hash include IO stream. So this IO is input output stream. So this is a common heading to start for every programming language written in C++. This is a way of writing. Hash include is very common, and there are so many options to replace IOStream also. But IOStream is a very common one, and this is the library which will have some words identified by the C++. So we'll see what it is. The C++ language defines several headers which contain information that is either necessary or useful to your program. For this program, the header input output stream is needed. So this is a header program. And we have the using namespace std, which is also very important. The line using namespace std tells the compiler to use the std namespace. Namespace are relatively recent addition to the C++. So suppose if you are not using the namespace std, then you have to add some symbol in your entire program. So to avoid typing again and again the same symbols inside the program, you are giving as a header, as a head title. Okay, so coming to the next one, so we learned that the first line is the header line, having the library by which you can the program will understand the important words, and this is to just to substitute for repeated marking of symbols. And the next one is you can see backslash. So this double backslash, if it is there in the program, the compiler won't read this line. So something you write after this one, whatever you wrote here, it won't be read by the compiler. So the next line, double backslash, is where the program execution begins, and this won't be read by the computer compiler. The line integer main is the main function where the program execution begins. So first line, second line. So this is not read by the compiler. So this is normally done for a better reading. Suppose you coded one C++ program and you are not directly telling about the algorithm used to solve a problem to a second person. So then you can write here at the heading with the double slashes so that the next person can understand what is happening inside this program. So this is, and for that, just do forward slashes. And yeah, the integer main, this is the third main line of the C++ language. The integer main is the main function where the program execution begins, and we are not going to give any input to this program. That means you just want to type the hello world. That's why there is no C in. Otherwise, C input will be there. So it is not there. Just directly C out. Directly give out. This is the general syntax. C out. Okay, then we will learn why. Yeah, I told we have provided using namespace std. If we didn't provide this one, we are supposed to write like this std. Then like this here. That means before the cout, we would like this like the semicolon here. Okay, so to avoid this writing, if it was there was some C in also, we have to write std. Then this C in. So to avoid those, we are giving it as the general title. Okay. So then we execute this one. C out. Then hello world. This is the syntax, and up to here. So see out uh, arrow, then hello world. It should be in, as it is a wait, you have to put it in inverted commas, then with a closing with the semicolon, and then you have put like the forward slash prints hello world. So that means a reader, a second person will understand that this command will make the program to print hello world, then return 0, because we are not doing any functions or performing any functions in calculations inside this program. That's why return 0. We are not returning anything after the computation. So there is nothing to return 0. Just to type this one, ending with a semicolon, closing with the curly bracket. So main thing is after the integer main, you have a void bracket, then you should start the program with the curly bracket and the end with the curly bracket. So these brackets and symbols are very important in the C++. So the next line, see out hello world causes the message hello world to be displayed on the screen. The next line returns 0 terminates main function causes it to return the value 0 to the calling process. Okay, so the general syntax include the header files. Header files means these two lines include IOStream using namespace std. Then the main program, what is inside the program, starts with the curly bracket, closes with the curly bracket. This comparison, the header files, one line, line 1, line 2 header files. This is not executed by the program. Then we have the return type, integer, main, with the curly bracket, with the brackets and then curly bracket. The program code statement. So only we have the hello world printing option, and return 0, then closing with the curly bracket. So we already have, or we also have the different header files like IOStream. So this is an IOStream. So this IOStream defines scene, cout, CERR, and clock objects, which correspond to the standard input stream, the standard output stream, etc. So this header file will give a list of library things which will understand scene, cout, and the input output management. Then we have the input output manip. This input output manipulation. So this will be used for customizing the results. Suppose we have a value, maybe some in the range of thousands, 0.000, thousands point 5 digits. So if you want the precision only in the first digit of 0, then you should use the input output manipulator. So this manipulator will help you to set some precision values for the results. And also we have the F stream. This file declares services for user controlled file processing. We'll discuss this one in the file and stream chapter. So this input output stream and the input output manipulator for customizing the results are the commonly used the header files. Okay, so if you are using the input output stream and input output manipulator, then you will be having two lines. First will be hash include input output stream, then next line hash include input output manipulator, then this is common, and then the program. Okay, so this is about the various library header files. We'll stop for now.